Alright, we're taking a look now at Alen and Alen's backstroke. I'd like to see a little bit more extension as he comes off the top. You want to throw those hands over your head. Now, one thing we notice, and we'll see this on the underwater motion, is that there's a lot of bobbing up and down. That's because his hands are so shallow here. If we can get those hands to catch a little bit deeper in the water, then we're going to be about where we want to be, and he's going to be able to anchor those hands. Right now what happens is those hands go in so shallow that he bobs up and down. When that happens, he never really gets a good catch on the water. He just kind of skims across the surface of the water. And for every effort that you go in to go up and down like this, it takes away from what we're trying to do, which is namely go this direction down the end of the pool. I do like what we see in the kick thus far. It's a pretty consistent kick from side to side. A little bit more knee bend than we'd like to see. It does go into the wall. I like how you don't lift your head up throughout the water. Okay? Or lift your head as you go into the wall. Right here. Good streamline. I like the kicks right there. If we can get you on your side a little bit, we can get a little bit more power. Right here though, you see how you lifted your head like that? You really didn't need to do that. Rather than do that and come up gas for air, what I'd like you to do is get your breath and then use those underwater dolphin kicks a little bit more effectively. And here you can see, we go in slow-mo. Slapping the water and pushing the water out to the side. What happens is if your hand pushes the water this way, your body is going to kind of get shifted that direction. So in addition to kind of going up and down like we had talked about, you're doing a little bit of a side-to-side motion. And you can even see that without this lane line open here. You're kind of drifting off to the left-hand side of the lane. Okay. But for the most part, you're strong. You got a good, strong kick. Your body position for the most part is good, so you're able to keep your hips up on top of the water and do all right. And that's certainly something that we can work on. Alright, what we'd like to do now is take a look at Alen's underwater backstroke. And one thing that you notice, you can't really take an underwater pull-out like that. It's really not the most effective. We didn't get the greatest start. We'd like to throw those hands over top of the head. You can see right there how much we can tighten up that streamline. If we can get that taken care of, that's going to at least allow you to use your kick, because you do have a fairly effective kick. But the underwater pull-out right there, rather than do that, because now what happens, you see how you're dead in the water right there? Instead, what we'd like you to do is hold that streamline position and work the kick out past a little bit farther than what you're going right there. Now what you're going to see is that as you take pull, your pulls are really shallow. You can see the fingertips almost skimming the surface of the water right up there. What we want to do is we want to catch a little bit deeper in the water where we can anchor a little bit more. I think if you bring your head back a little, you don't really need to bring it back a whole lot. It's going to make it easier for you to roll from side to side, which you're not doing right now. The more roll you're going to get, the deeper catch you're going to get. And we're starting to teach people to take a shallower catch, but in this case you can see you're pulling right through the surface of the water, especially on that right hand, but we'll see it on the left hand too as well. Right there you can get a sense with that left hand. We've got the angle of arm that we want, okay, but we're not quite getting that catch early on. And if we can hold on to the water early on in the stroke, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to accelerate those hands throughout the stroke, pick up speed, and finish strong. Now we see a little bit more hip rotation. I like what we're doing with the body position for the most part. You can see your hips are up on the top of the water, near the surface of the water. A little bit of dorsiflexing in the feet. I'd like to see you get to point those toes. Now what I did notice here on the above water is that you do a good job of not looking up at the wall. You use the backstroke flags effectively. So you're able to get in tight on that wall, and right there, this is a much better streamline than what we saw on the other side. But again, we don't want to do this breakout stroke right here. We want to hold on that streamline, and we want to keep working those kicks. Kick, 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 kick. Okay. Further out you can get, that's a great place to accelerate past people. Right now, with both those hands down at the bottom by your hips, you've got a dead zone. We always want to have some oppositional rotation in our backstroke, which means we've got one hand here, we've got one hand back down there. In freestyle, we've got a little bit of catch-up. Obviously, in butterfly and breaststroke, the hands move together. But when you take that underwater pull-out, then it leaves you kind of a dead zone. You can be able to kick a little bit more with the hips as you move along. Here you're doing a nicer job. You can tell the toes are pointed better than I thought they were. But we basically especially want to get a deeper catch on that pull. We can get a deeper catch and establish it, then you're going to be able to accelerate the hands, and that's where you're going to see the speed come from in this stroke. Okay. Good job, Alen.